What's up? Welcome back. Dr. Gene here with
Dr. Ryan Smith
and
Pam Showman.
Pam is back. So we ushered in springtime this week with a foot of snow.
Quite literally.
Welcome to springtime in Maryland. So this is episode 3 of our Friday review, where we kind of talk about some of the conversations we had throughout the week with our community members, with our patients, with ourselves that we think are relevant in terms of health, fitness, life, anything in that realm. So let's get into it. Ryan, anything big that sticks out for you this week?
Yeah, I think a few things. One being that of the idea of routine. And this might have been almost more of a conversation myself that I relayed to the members of this week we got to start up again practicing competition days. So we previously had test weeks and fun weeks, etc. And for whatever reason, I felt more at home with having this sort of routine back into the life of the workouts we're doing, the programming we do, etc. And thought about how routine is affected in everything I do, whether it be my workouts, my nutrition, the daily habits I've started to bring on, and how important it is for me to maintain that, and how my routine has changed from 5 years ago. Now what I consider a typical day, I realize has changed drastically because it's routine, because I've made it that way based on habits. And talking to members you look at a lot of the individuals who are now here 6 months, and them coming to the gym is now the routine. Mm-hmm. They text me when they don't make it in because it's now this thing that they just do, not I need to go exercise. And I think that's really cool. Like even on the snow day, everybody's like, well, how do I get into the gym today? And that was kind of a cool thing to see, that their routine is now just completely shifted. So that was neat to see.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually had something similar along those lines. It was more of a structure. I think a lot of the things that we do, that most of us do, it comes down to behavioral change. That the pieces in between the behaviors might be different or unique, whether it's quitting smoking, eating more vegetables, going to the gym, all these quote-unquote healthy behaviors, but it's still a behavioral change from something you weren't doing before to something you're doing now. So something even as might seem as small as us being closed for a day because of snow, even though we tried to get in here, which although it's a good thing that we closed, but having people calling and leaving Facebook messages and wanting to get in and genuinely being thrown off because this option that is there for them that they've been taking consistently is not there anymore, and it changes overall their structure and they have to change their behavior. So it was really cool to see how people reacted, and I would say in a positive way, that they wanted that opportunity, aside from the parents that just needed to get away from the kids. that was a strong reality as well.
Yeah, agreed. And that routine, I think, is built within the confines of context that we use a lot here, whether it's practice days or competition days, like we said. Pam's got the ability to now coach classes consistently for us, which all our PT students do, and it's our first week of coaching. So, Pam, what do you got up your sleeve?
How's that going, Pam?
Yeah.
It's great. I love getting in there and really interacting with the members, and you touched on context, and I think that's kind of the big theme for me this week, giving context to members each and every day that they come in here as to why they're doing these workouts, what it's preparing them for in their daily life and in their daily routine. And it's cool to see how you talk about how their context for doing these things has shifted since they've been members here. And so being able to give them that new context, that new routine is rewarding.
I think our member said it best. It was yesterday. One of them was like, we were doing a heart rate recovery workout, which we've never done before. We just wanted to see how it went with our new heart rate straps. And one was just looked back at me and said, "This is the most interesting gym I've ever been a part of." And just kind of nodded her head and laughed. And then immediately after, someone's like, "This is the first gym I've ever been a part of." And I think more so than anything, those two quotes probably sum up our membership really, really well.
Yeah, I was having a conversation yesterday or 2 days ago with somebody that was coming on. So we have an onboarding process. When you first come in, you kind of visit, you sit down, we chat, kind of talk about your goals, fears, concerns, all that kind of stuff. And then before you can become a member, you go through our onboarding process, which is 3 one-on-one sessions with Ryan and then 1 group class, because we need to make sure that you have a strong foundation of understanding. And I was having a conversation with this person during their first kind of visit, and it reminded me of all these other conversations that we had, and how that's evolved, because we're getting ready to hit that 1 year mark. And the members, like you said, I'd say 80% of our members have never tried CrossFit, maybe even more so, maybe 90%. 80% weren't regularly exercising in this kind of capacity. And to see where they are now and then have a conversation with somebody that's coming in kind of fresh, that might be joining this community, but they're talking about some of the stuff that we actually talked about last week, some of the fears, some of the thought viruses that were implanted into them by other healthcare professionals, like they have horrible knee arthritis, they have this, they have that, they had this injury when they were in college that they were trying to work through, and it just like feeds on itself. And I had this flashback because the class was going on at that time, and some of the stuff that was going on and the people that were talking in there, I was like, I want to almost take him and push him into the future to show him, like, this is where you will be. Just these people have gone through it just as you'll go through it, as long as you get yourself into that community. And the power of that community, I think, is amazing. And to see where they are now, it's been really fun.
Yeah, agreed. Getting to guide people through those one-on-one sessions, I think, is one of the most amazing things I get to do on a weekly basis. Seeing them go from talking with Gene to actually then feeling out what that's like. I mean, if it's horrible knee arthritis, to simply changing the way their position is in a squat, and then their pain goes away. There's little wins like that throughout the week that make you go, oh, okay, for them, they have a little bit of control over how they feel based on how they move. And that's always a cool point to try to hammer home repeatedly to them consistently. So
yeah, and a big topic of conversation with all the people that I've talked to this week has been about stress and load management, because everything we do is a progression of load, and ultimately it's stress. And for some reason, people think that there's good stress and bad stress, but it's just stress. The way your body processes stress, it does it the same way. And whether it can or can't, it's as simple as that. When you go beyond this threshold of can't, stress becomes bad. It just becomes poorly tolerated and processed by the body. So we really have had that same conversation several times with people, because they told me about things they can't do, or how they want to get past it and dealing with stress. And breaking it down is this process of understanding how your body deals with it, and watching your heart levels, watching your perception of stress, talking through it, and then loading the weight properly on top of it. It all kind of plays together. Are you stressed in life? How's your support system? Plus the weight that you're putting on. All this is stress that you have to deal with. And once you kind of start to understand how that works, I think it really makes growth a lot more efficient and effective.
Agreed. Speaking of stress, how's board studying going?
It is going slowly but surely.
Don't call me Shirley.
Pam takes her professional boards at the end of April.
That's right.
That's right.
Name the movie that quote's from.
Don't call me Shirley.
Name the movie.
No idea.
Name the movie.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah. No? Really?
What is it?
I'm not going to tell you. Figure it out.
You can cut that out.
Yeah, well. All right, so we're rolling into springtime. We have, once the snow melts, which it's almost there, we got a lot of big things coming up in the next few weeks that we'll be chatting about. I'm sure a lot of thoughts about just warmer weather, getting outside, running, and all kinds of other fun things that spring brings about.
10Ks in the near future.
Rabbits.
Training for a 10K.
Rabbits with eggs.
Rabbits with, Easter is on its way.
I still don't understand why rabbits and eggs are associated together.
Because Easter and I got nothing.
Bunnies, eggs, laying eggs.
Chocolate bunnies are really good. Chocolate eggs are really good.
Anything.
Mix them together, you get
Peanut butter.
chocolate.
Okay. That's our week this week. If you know the quote from the movie, leave a comment, let us know. If you know why eggs and chocolates are for some reason together for Easter, we'd love to know that as well. Aside from that, review, load management, having structure, and a community to support yourselves are critical things that we saw a lot of this week. So if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a review, please subscribe, and we'll catch you again next week.